So what's up, good people? This is Eugene, the African kid, and today we're going to talk about this topic. Most of African Americans, our brothers and sisters, have always been thinking that we Africans we value so much, our white, friends than them as our brothers. So one thing is this. It doesn't always seem the way you people think because I think the contact between Africans and African Americans and the contact between Africans and the whites, it's a bit different. And before I just preempt every issue that I'm going to talk about, I think it's imperative if we first watch this video and later on come back and talk about this issue. This is Eugene, the African kid, and kindly, if you're always watching my video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I urge you to subscribe to my channel because it means a lot to me. Kindly guys, reach me 1,000 subscribers. So without much further ado, let's watch the video and then come back.
Okay, this happens to be like one of the biggest misunderstanding coming to America. Black people thinking Africans associate themselves more with white Americans than they do African Americans. Now here's the thing. A lot of African Americans do not travel to inside African countries. Like they're usually on the upper coast of Africa. I personally had only seen one African American in Uganda, official African American. But that being said, we don't view the world in the eyes of their sides to choose. There are no sides to choose. It's all a blank slate to us. Now, if more African Americans traveled to African countries and maybe were the reason some Africans travel to America, you would probably find more Africans associating with that community of people because those are the people that they know in America. It's not like we're out here choosing who we want to be with and all that. It's the people that have come into our lives at that specific time that we're going to come. If we happen to come to America because of them and their help, of course we're gonna associate with them. If they don't hang out with African Americans, you would find that our communities are not gonna be filled with African Americans. It's not that we're choosing between which people we want to pick. I'm sure I have African American friends. I have white American friends. It's not about choosing who. I personally don't choose the person I want to be friends with because they're white American or African American or Asian or all that. I choose you because of who you are, not what you are or what you identify as. Of course, if you are a bad person, I would not want to be friends with you. But if you're a good person, it doesn't matter what you are or where you're from. I'm still gonna associate with you. I think this mentality of Africans don't like African Americans, African this should stop, because I think this is just unnecessary division that does not even make sense. You know what the funny thing is? This is something that only exists to African Americans. No African is sitting in that house thinking, oh, African Americans don't like me and I don't like them either. Absolutely no one, because you know what? They've never met African Americans. It's not often that African Americans come to Africa.
Yo, here's my beef, and this has always been my beef. And I want my people to listen to this from a perspective of reasoning. As somebody who has traveled to the continent of Africa, haven't been to every country, but I've actually been able to touch African soil, been able to interact with South Africans, East Africans, and West Africans. And I was greeted with respect, and I was greeted as a brother. I say that to say all this. I saw something on YouTube where a woman was asking some people, I think it was Kenya, some people in some country, and even the subtitle, Africans saying that they don't want African Americans or Black Americans in that country. See, I even that word, Africans are saying, it's 54 countries. 54 countries. The United States is one country with 50 states. Could you even fathom a continent that huge with 54 countries? And yet you label Africans across the board. But anyway, I think it was Kenya. And it was a few people that stated that they didn't want Black people there in their country, or Black Americans in their country. And so, of course, the comment section went crazy. Here's the thing I never understood about our people, though. Our people have heard Asians, express their disdain. Not every Asian. Some Asians express their disdain for our people. And yet that has not stopped any Black person from going over to Indonesia, Thailand, Bali, and any other Asian country. Black people have heard Latinos express disdain for us. Some Latinos. That hasn't stopped Black people from going to Mexico. That's not stopping y'all from going to Tulum. That's not stopping y'all from going to Cancun. That's not stopping y'all from going to the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or Cuba or any other Latin Caribbean place. So why give up on the whole continent because of what a few people say? It all has to do with the fact that it's been ingrained in us to separate from Africa, to hate Africa, to have a disdain for anything African. You know what I'm saying? You've seen how some whites have mistreated Black people, and yet that hasn't stopped y'all from going to European countries. Come on, stop with the cat, bro. Stop with the cat, peoples.
Yeah, so it's true that a lot of our brothers and sisters from the diaspora always sees us like we don't prefer them, but we prefer our friends, our white friends, or the way we relate to them. And I'm gonna tell you the contact between Africans and the whites isn't this way. You see, the white people have always been coming to Africa and visiting different places. And this is true. And also, now let's see the contact between Africans and African Americans, or brothers from and sisters from the diaspora. You'll realize that the whites have always been coming to Africa so much, but that's not the point. The point is this: people interact with the white people in different segments. We have most of them who come for business in Africa. We have most of them who do charity work in Africa, maybe donate things to Africa, and they have established this kind of relationship. So if people sees that, people think that we Africans would prefer our white friends, and they see this as a betrayal, which is okay. As a human being, it's okay to feel like it's like a betrayal, because these are the same their forefathers put our forefathers in some type of pain which is unexplainable, which makes sense if to feel that way. But I created this video to tell you that that might not be the entire truth. You see, in fact, most of Africans don't know much about African Americans. That's the truth. And there is no way a person will hate you if they don't know you so much well. It's only a few Africans who knows what happened during slavery. It's only a few Africans. I'm talking about 54 African countries. So you can imagine the population. The population is so big, the population is so big. And it's always saddening when a brother says that Africans, we don't like them, like Africans we do hate them. One thing that you need to understand is this: we don't hate you African Americans. And I think I did a couple of videos trying to explain this. There is always a misunderstanding between us, we as people from the same community, I mean the black community, we don't hate you, and that's the truth. But there is always some sort of misunderstandings that always come and happens, and this is one thing which happens. But deep down, we don't hate you, because even most of us haven't interacted with you. You see, most of us haven't interacted with you, but it's an improvement, because from the year 2019, since Africa through Ghana, the year of return, have always opened up for African Americans. Other Africans saw this as an initiative for also opening up for African Americans, and Kenya is also following the lead. Rwanda did that, South Africa, other African countries are also taking part in doing this. So we are still in those stages of trying to get to know you better, trying to understand the story, trying to welcome you back home. And if only Africans, most all Africans do this, we all loved you the way you desired, because I know everyone desired to be loved, and that's what makes us human being. They say human being is a social animal. So it's so painful that you will go to a place and you feel like you are rejected, and this is a place that you term as your home. Well, as you term it as your home, the problem is you coming back to Africa, and this is the point that brings misunderstanding. Our African governments haven't told our African people to recognize you as their brothers. So when we see you, we just see you. Most of us don't know you, and I think I've been saying this a couple of times. We don't know you, and we can't know you by just seeing you walking on the road. I'll assume that you're a black person. I'll assume that you stay in Kenya. I'll assume that I normally see you. Not unless I'm a person who can. There's this thing which is so open. When I talk to you, I understand. I'll notice that you kind of sound like a black American or African American, as we see in the movies, of course. But to understand a way of coexisting and living together, it's something that we also Africans, I think that we need to be educated, because the population of people still don't know this. And this is something which, if they are told, it's when they start know this and embracing brotherhood. You see, Africans, we know what is called the Ubuntu spirit. Yes, it's doing what is right to a brother the same way you wanted it to be done for you. In other times, Africans for Africans, but this is something which is called the golden rule. You will want to do to your brother something that you will also love a person to do it to you. And this is the same philosophy that Jesus used, and it is one of also featured in the greatest commandment: love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what they say. So majority of Africans are not educated well in trying to accept this, while our brothers and sisters are also struggling with the identity crisis. We are trying to understand, like, where do I come from for real? It's the same problem that we Africans have here. In as much as we understand that we were born in Africa, our forefathers were in Africa, we are still not yet educated in how to, socialize with you, how to address you, how to, try to understand you, because you people have gone through a lot, and the traumas of the things that happen to you. Most of Africans don't know this. That's why you'll be hearing cases of I was scammed by an African, I was overcharged, I got a fake expert and they did me wrong, they did me wrong in this thing. Yeah, these things happen because the African governments haven't taken the initiative of educating Africans or sensitizing people on knowing these important things and how can you socialize, because you people are a special type of people, and that's true, and we need to handle you with care, and you are our brothers. It is only few Africans like me, the person who is talking right now, and maybe a few people who have interacted with you that understand the part of your story. It will be so difficult for an African to just understand that you went through a lot. That's why I normally say no to people who say that Africans hate African Americans. It's not true. Now, I'll use a different scenario. Today, an African leaves Africa and goes to the United States, right? And they go for a work, right? And they get the job. And of course, maybe they're employed by the whites. It's a company for the whites. Or maybe they're employed by the black, okay? Or an African American. They start doing a couple of jobs, and then issues starts arising. When issues are rising, they throw words at each other. A person will say that, you know, you're lazy, I've come to your country and I'm achieving a lot more than you. Of course, those are such kind of things are the things I've always been making, you know, fightings here and there between Africans and African Americans. Africans haven't been told this. Even the books, even the history lessons that we took in our high school level didn't reach this maximum of at what time will African Americans come back to Africa, and Africans, how will they understand African Americans, because we are people who are raised different socially, you understand, and our norms are different. We are people of the same color, but our norms are different. How will the syllabus be inclusive to the African Americans? And that's why you see people complaining that mostly our brothers from the diaspora and sisters complaining that we prefer the whites than them. It doesn't seem that that's true. Well, it might look like that, but that's not the truth. The problem that Africans we have is that most of us are not well sensitized when it comes to socializing with you, interacting with you, you know. So, and also this video helps you to understand that it is important for you also to try to understand Africans for who they are. And in that point, we can come to a certain equilibrium and say that, okay, we've been fighting over, you know, who is better than the other, and who has achieved a lot more than the other. Such kind of superficial things that we people has been always fighting for every now and then. But we need to understand that Africans don't hate African Americans. I'm also going to address this. You are from the United States. You have the zeal and the zest to come to your motherland to, you know, to start a life in the motherland. For example, you settle in Kenya. You find a rude Kenyan, they talk to you badly. You go out there, you're going to say that, you know, Africans are bad. You know, the moment you say Africans, now that's an umbrella term, Africans. I would prefer if you say, I met a certain Kenyan who was rude to me. You know, that doesn't say that all Africans are bad people. So guys, kindly, thank you for watching if you've reached until this point. And I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers. Guys, this means a lot to me. If you're watching this video for the first time, kindly ensure to subscribe to my channel. And if you've been watching my videos and you haven't subscribed, please, for the love of God, please subscribe to my channel. It keeps me, you know, providing for you this awareness, providing for you this content, and it motivates me to go further and dig deep to a lot of things that you are not being told about Africans, especially for the African Americans or people want to come to, you know, interact with Africans. This is a small channel and I'm only asking you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. This is Eugene the African Kid. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.